Hey guys, welcome back. It's Killian and CJ back with another episode.
And we're going to talk to you today about avoiding writer burnout and finding healthy habits for your mind and your body that work and that are sustainable. So stick around.
I'm Killian and I'm a developmental editor and have over 15 titles published.
And I'm CJ, author, artist, and I eat, sleep, and breathe storytelling. We're critique partners, and we're here to explore and discover the art of story.
From beginning to end.
From inspiration
to hitting publish.
So, Killian, notice anything different about me today?
Yeah, you're wearing some sunglasses inside.
I wear my sunglasses. These are not sunglasses. That's a hook. You have to now ask me what they are.
Okay, CJ. So they're not sunglasses. They're just tinted lenses on your face. So what are they?
So these are, what I noticed is that I have had 20/20 vision my whole entire life, and I've never had a problem with my vision. Thank you. But what I noticed that when I started getting towards publishing my first book, I would look at the screen, especially if I was trying to watch television, and digital screens, I really began to start to see like a glare. And I don't know if it was dry eye. So I started to wear like blue light glasses, and it wasn't really helping. And then I heard about these blue light glasses that had this, like, they looked like sunglasses and they had this tint. So I started wearing these, and I wasn't going to tell you about them until I was sure that they were like actually helping.
Right.
And they are helping. I'm not getting the eye fatigue, and I'm not getting the eye burnout that I was getting. I'm not getting the glare on digital.
Oh my God.
So I wanted to show you these today because I thought that they would be really helpful. I mean, don't you feel it in your eyes? Like from
girl, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at them now.
Awesome. Yeah.
Those look kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, if you're swearing by them, I might get myself a pair. Yeah, no, I wear contact lenses. I am not like you. I was not born with 20/20 vision. My vision sucks.
No. Beautiful.
My eyes do not need any help being strained. So I noticed, I've noticed this like since last year or the past year, but last night was really bad. By the time it becomes later in the day and I still have a lot of editing or writing to get done, my eyes are shot.
Yeah, eye fatigue is real.
Editing is worse because I know that when I was writing the draft of the current book that I'm working on, I would just look down. I would just not even look at the screen. I even close my eyes. I know where all the keys are, because if I just get the draft done, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like blind.
I'll be fine. Right? I'm just like, I can do it. Right. Or even like just go for a walk and do speech to text. So writing, I can move around that. But when it comes to editing, I need my eyes, and even like, oh yeah, you can just have it read it back to you. That works to a certain point, but you still need to see what you're doing most of the time, so last night I couldn't work anymore.
Yeah. And sometimes you feel like, don't you feel like you're exhausted, but you're not actually exhausted because your eyes.
Yeah. The moment I take my contacts off, I'm like, oh shit, I'm awake.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so the eye fatigue is real. And I think that we can actually do real damage to our eyes. And especially, when we're trying to like bang out novels and edit, and like we are really logging some serious screen time. So I think like
we really are, especially if you're doing things like you're editing for others, and you have like your editing business, or your coaching business and things like that. Like I was working mostly on client work. The morning to the afternoon, and then after my break, even though I took a break, I sat back down to work on my stuff, and I could not. It was like, I cannot see. I'm seeing double. My eyes are crossing. I had to keep looking away, and it was just Yeah,
and it affects our sleep, and it's not even. I mean, and listen, we're on screens all the time. It's just
it's a digital world, so it's from the laptop or computer to your phone. Like it's back and forth, constant.
But it's worse when we're writing, because like if you're scrolling, you can kind of be mentally checked out somewhere and like just whatever. And that's not that that's good for your eyes, but when we're actually writing and
focusing,
like black lines of burning into my retinas. And these I have found have been the only glasses that have helped me. And I'm not like, they ain't
Wow.
paying me. I don't even, I'm not even giving you the name of the brands of the glasses, but I did some research into it and just, they look like sunglasses, but they're not. So don't go
No,
outside and
I
think
trust
that
your
you can
research
get that.
because just by putting was it blue light glasses on Amazon, not all of them show up with that filter, with that lens that look like sunglasses. So I wonder, are the other ones legit? Like, how come those don't have
They do
a
have like a film. I have other glasses in
okay?
here. Let me in my drawer somewhere. Maybe they're not in here. But I have you can see that there's like because they get worn out and it gets scratched a little. You see that there's like a little blue light film, but it's
Oh,
um, these are just I mean, I don't know what's going on here with what they have in here. But one thing I do want to warn people against if you get these tinted or whatever green blue light glasses is that like they're not actual sunglasses and you should not wear blue light
wear them
glasses
outside.
all day long because your brain actually needs a certain amount of blue light. It has to do with your circadian rhythm, you know. Um, I also got a little bit educated in like really just health in general and circadian rhythm and there's a pitfall with being a writer or an author and being on these screens. We're not using typewriters and circadian rhythm, and I think that we should be educated on that. We should understand because if
Mm-hmm.
we burn out physically, we're going to burn out mentally, and if we burn out mentally, like what's the point?
And while we're on that topic and of sleep, and I'm just looking at a big cloud coming over, so it might bother my lighting here, but soon. But um,
It would be the cloud of
I
doom.
I have insomnia. Like I have always had insomnia, and I have a tough time turning my brain off, which is why I rather work in the morning so that I have like other tasks to do during the day. So by the time it gets to night and I have like kind of quieted my mind and done my nighttime
Mhm.
ritual for that, I can go to sleep easier. But on seasons, we'll call them seasons that I have a deadline, I can't really do that. I'm basically working up until the night, so my brain is hard for me to turn it off.
Yeah.
With the blue light, that makes it even worse.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's like another added thing on top of not being able to turn your brain off.
Yeah, because the blue light is it's like it's the nat what that naturally tells your brain is that it's daytime. Like our circadian
Yeah.
rhythm in our brains, like we're in tune to, we're members of the planet. We're part of nature, we're
Right.
nature. So when we see like when you in the morning when the rays of natural light come in through your window, that tells your brain it's time to wake up. You actually detect that through your eyelids. So blue light communicates with your brain, and this is like a very old system. And what we're doing in having such a digital life with so much artificial light is we have to be aware of it. You know what I mean? We have to be aware of it. And God bless those people that actually sit there and write with a pen and a paper. I am jealous of you because I can't do it. I have to type. There are people that they do, like Neil Gaiman writes out his first draft,
Well, he still does that. I did that in the
uh,
very beginning. When I first started writing, I would have pen to paper.
yeah,
And as time went on, it's like training your brain to work on something new, and that's how it was for me in the very beginning. I felt like I could think better, I could plot better with pen to paper. And sometimes I still have a journal and a notepad right here
mhm.
for me when I'm plotting and I can write things down. And when
Yeah,
I
like
create a
notes.
story Bible, I have like very dedicated journals for this new book or series that is
Mhm.
on the computer. But as time went on, my brain just kind of switched and I was able to still think quicker. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Fine, like working on a laptop or a computer, and I no longer needed to write that draft by hand,
yeah.
and it saves a lot of time.
Well,
You
that's
know,
one thing to point out. It's like cutting screen time as much as we can. Like, okay, yes, I am the same way. Like, I can't sit down when it comes to the actual writing of the chapters. I can't.
right?
But doing the outlines. Like I have a whole bunch of notebooks and stuff, and I'm kind of a planter, so I have some outlining and some ideas, and then world
Yeah,
building arcs and things. Rather than do
yeah,
it directly on a screen, um,
yeah.
I like to do that in notebooks because it also breaks up my screen time.
Yeah. I
So
just found that whatever I was writing in a notebook, I had to retype anyway. So then I was like, okay, I need to cut time, especially when you're doing this as a career and you have books now plural that you're publishing in 1 year. Any way that you can cut time might be effective. But kind of keeping that in mind that if you're kind of in a plotting phase and you have like a dedicated
Mhm.
journal to
Yeah,
handwrite and help you, because let's face it, not everything you type up anyways in the plot is going to go in the book.
that's
So
right. Exactly. So you
you're
might be
still
having a
going to
lot of,
have to cut things out regardless. So
yeah,
if you start off with a journal and then you read through it and say, okay, this is going to go in here, and you type it up. This is going to go in here, and you can speech to text too.
yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be faster because you're reading it, right? You're not
Yeah.
you're not like training
And it
yourself to.
just breaks it up. All right, Killian. So what are some other things that are at risk for our health, mental and physical, by sitting on our butts all day writing? And what can we do to mitigate the damage to our minds and our bodies?
Right. So I think you just said it right there, sitting on our butts all day. And,
Mhm.
I think that when you're first starting out, you might have another job and you're busy doing other things. So you're not really in the stage of sitting on your butt writing all day unless you're sitting on your butt with whatever job you have.
Mhm.
In my case,
Yeah,
I was an archaeologist and I was like top of my health and super, super fit because I was pushing wheelbarrows and filling out buckets of dirt and carrying them and carrying sandbags. And I was constantly just every day was a giant workout, right? eight
yeah,
hour day. But now since when I transitioned over to being an author, I don't get out much. And I'm in Florida. So if you don't do your exercises early, you're not going to do squat
yeah,
until it's nighttime because and then the mosquitoes are out because it's
yeah.
hot. It's hot as
So
hell
do
here.
do you have like a routine? I know for me, like I would die without a routine. Do you have
Yeah.
a routine?
Normally I have a few health concerns at the moment, so I'm not in that routine. My dog gets us up early in the morning. And in the beginning, I was taking him out for walks. Now my husband is doing that while my health issues kind of like dissolve, hopefully. But getting yourself in a routine is highly recommended
Yeah,
because and depending on where in the world you live, maybe early in the morning if it's super cold where you are,
yeah,
that's not ideal because that's like super cold and you want to wait for that sun to come out. So depending on where you are, you have to keep that in mind. If you're a full-time author, then maybe working out at 1 p.m. isn't bad.
yeah. It's a
It's
good way to
not
break up the day too. You know what I
it
mean?
you take that break. I know that Mark Dawson would tell everyone that he would write in the morning and then he would go on his walk.
Yeah,
And this is England. He's in England. So yeah, you
yeah,
can go for a walk at noon over there and that's
yeah.
the way he breaks out his
Me
day.
and you are in Florida. You go for a walk at noon in like
We
August.
gotta, yeah, well, we're dying. We're dying. So we have to make the effort of getting up super early before that sun is blazing hot. But I know that when I do that, my brain is clear and I'm
Hmm.
creative and
Yeah,
I'm ready to work. I love the 5 a.m. club. When I was doing
yeah.
that, I love getting up at 5 a.m. because it's quiet
Agreed. I
and
love that. I
and
can't I can't sustain it, but I love it.
it's hard to sustain. But if you can do it, that 20-minute workout
Mhm.
really gets your creative juices flowing, and it's healthier. You feel good. You feel good and then you're motivated to get your work done. And
Yeah.
then you're thinking, oh man, if I can get 3,000 words in this first hour, then
Mhm.
I can go wherever and do something else
Yeah.
for a little bit and your day becomes full.
And there's there's science behind that because getting, first of all, getting outside, whether it's sunshine or overcast, but just even getting outside. And granted, I know,
Yeah.
or, up north or wherever, like sometimes you can't always do that, but
Yeah.
that alone, did it getting the sunshine on your skin, the vitamin D, your brain taking it in, then also the movement,
Yeah.
blood flowing and moving, like it's carrying more oxygen to your organs. You're
Yeah.
getting you're getting a dopamine hit. You always get a dopamine. Your body is designed to do that. So like if we, and it's easy, oh my gosh, the fastest way to get super depressed. I mean, if you want to be a suffering artist, like I get it. I did that for many years of my life. Like I really could not find any success in it until I started to get my shit together.
Yeah.
Fastest way to get depressed is to like roll out of bed and like just immediately start working on a project and obsessing over it and just like staying in that bubble,
That bubble, that toxic
indoors in that
bubble.
bubble. Yeah, like
Yeah. And we're not even talking about the obvious gym membership. Some of you will have a gym membership. You
I
know, I don't believe in spending money on gym memberships, but that's because I'm in Florida and
yeah.
it's beautiful outside and I can do that. And also, I bought an elliptical machine. It's in the other room, so I could do that if I wanted to. And also they sell these
Oh, I had one of
they're
those.
under the desk. What are they called? I don't even
My
know.
desk. I have bought one of those, and then it doesn't go onto my desk because I got this bar.
Oh, okay, okay. I actually want to check that
Go
out.
under the desk step machine.
It's really funny because I was at my physical therapist like a week ago, and I went to the receptionist so I could pay for it, and she's like, "Don't mind me. I'm just exercising under the desk." And I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh, okay,
yeah, it's
cool."
a thing. Yep.
And I'm like, all right, well, and I'm thinking, are you only like how many calories does that burn too? Like you're not really off your glutes,
Yeah.
right? But it's something.
Yep.
It's something because if you do that, it can still feel it in your core.
And you always feel better after you're moving. Like, so if
Right.
when we're living in an unnatural lifestyle, it's going to lower our productivity. When we're finished with whatever, the walk, the exercise, whatever it is, 20 minutes, half an hour, 40, whatever you are comfortable with, you are
Yeah.
going to be more creative. You're going to have more energy. Like it's, you're a scientist. Come on. What's
Yeah.
inertia again? The tendency of an object set in motion to stay in
The
motion.
emotion is
You know?
right.
Like
I'm
when
actually
I
writing
was
this down in my little notebook here because I actually want to remember to look it up.
I was able to get away with the whatever the like, oh, I'm an artist, like more so I think when I was a painter and a musician, because like it's performance and like, but this is writing is a whole different animal, you know what I mean? Like you got to have your shit together. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, oh, look at tragic me, like, oh no. People are they're not looking at you, they're looking at the book, and if that book is not organized and doesn't make sense and isn't doesn't have a plot they can follow, there is you have to have a functioning
No.
brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You
like
do.
I personally I can't wrap my head around the whole like concept of the rock. And I know they're out there like the Hemingways, but like the rock star writer where it's like, you know, drinking themselves to death. And I'm like, I literally would not be able to put together a chapter.
Among other
Right.
things.
Yeah, amongst other things. So that's important. I honestly, my experience has been getting up. So my routine is I wake up, I have a cup of coffee, I feed my animals, my mini zoo in my house, and then my girl Rosie, my dog, I walk her, and when it's
Yeah.
like we are in Florida, so when it's warmer out, I can't walk her as long, but I try to walk her between 1 and 3 miles a day in the morning. And then in the afternoons, she gets her walk after she eats. So I know I'm getting at least a couple of miles in a day. And then
Yeah.
I wear a Fitbit. You know what I mean? I know not, you don't need a Fitbit. You can use a
No,
Pomodoro.
and they have cheaper ones. I have a cheaper one
Yeah,
that I used to wear downstairs. It's just
yeah,
I need to actually use it now. I
yeah.
haven't. But and that was like $30 on Amazon.
Yeah, and that's what I used to have, and
Yep.
honestly, they do the same thing.
They
So,
do the same. You don't
so
need an
that was
Apple
a gift.
if you don't want it.
Yeah, but
Obviously
they get up.
The Fitbit's better
Yeah,
because it monitors your sleeping rhythms and all of that. But if you're on a budget and you can't afford a Fitbit, those $30
yeah,
ones on Amazon are great.
they are great, and you
They're
track
great.
you track your steps in a day, and like set a
Yeah.
goal. You know what I mean? If you're at like wherever you're at, honestly, like set a goal
Mhm.
to like do a little bit more. And then the feeling of doing it and being accomplished, believe it or not, it's like our mind is one whole ecosystem.
Dopamine.
It,
It
it will increase your productivity. Like
does. It does.
I feel like a lot of times even writer's block is almost like life block. You know what I mean? Like it can be that we
Yes.
know where a story's going, but it can also be that like we're jammed up because we're
Writer's block to me is, yeah, it jammed up, but it's also not following a routine.
Mhm.
It's easy to get into writer's block if you've taken a week off your writing
Yeah.
and you've lost your routine and now you're getting back and you're staring at the page and you're saying, where am I going? This person usually also is probably a pantser and does not have a outline.
I've
But
been there,
you
done
know,
that.
but because now I don't really get writer's block
Yeah.
anymore. If I get writer's block in my plot, then I am still in the process of research and brainstorming.
And plotting, yes. You're right.
Yeah,
100%. And that we'll talk about that with our plot. All right. So
that's
we talked
different.
about like movement, getting your body moving. One more little tip that's fun. I keep a little garden, and it could be the smallest garden in the world, but one of the things that gets me up out of my chair
I
is
love your garden.
tells me to get up is like I
Yeah,
go and I just like check the garden, water the plants, check the
yeah,
garden.
yeah.
It does wonders for the
I have a Cairo, so unfortunately, my little garden has suffered a little bit, and they are relying
I
on the
always
rain.
her puppy. It's our puppy wolf.
Cairo is my puppy, and it's like, oh, I need to go water the plants, and he's like doing something, and I gotta, you
And
know,
everyone thinks he's a coyote, right?
everybody thinks it's a coyote. It's like, what the? First of all, you cannot domesticate a coyote. Coyotes cannot be domesticated. So why? How do they even come up with that? They're walking down St. Augustine, and they're like, is that a coyote? And I'm like, my service dog who is walking perfectly in heel next to me wearing Crocs and a Louis Vuitton hat.
Someone puts up a post. I stop. I'm like, is he wearing Crocs?
We can put a picture of him up
He
right
has
here
like
somewhere.
a little Gucci hat. Yeah, yeah.
But
I'll throw a picture up.
does he look like a coyote to you guys? Answer down
I'm gonna
below
put the picture right
or
there. Does that look like a coyote to
or
you?
whatever
Is
whatever
that
you
a
think
Gucci
is right.
hat? I think it's a Gucci hat.
It's Louis Vuitton.
Dog's wearing Crocs right now.
He's cute.
Is he a coyote? Yeah.
Um,
All right,
but
so let's talk about this. Let's talk about
coffee. I have my cup right here.
all right. At what point does it become unsafe?
Right. So you and I have coffee that run through our genetic bloodstream. I am Cuban Honduran. My father has a coffee farm in Honduras. My mother got me is was addicted to coffee when she was a kid because Cubans didn't really of older generations didn't really know the negative effects of coffee to children. So we grew up with our café con leche.
Literally, my cousins give my baby cousins espresso with milk. They have cafe lattes. They drink what Americans drink.
Yes. Yeah, and it was
And they're
fine
like three.
before bed. Like, you know what I
Right,
mean?
like,
Oh my God. So now, of course, we are all addicted. And yeah. So we both struggle because especially with the blue light and our eyes are getting tired and we're like, I need
yeah,
another coffee.
yeah,
2 p.m.
this is
comes
like a
along, we're like, I need another coffee. 4 p.m. comes along, we're like, I need another coffee. And it's like, okay, we had a coffee in the morning.
yeah.
We had a coffee probably around 11 or 12. We had a coffee at 2. We had a coffee at 4. That's 4
And
coffee.
believe it or not, so coffee is actually like aside from my author life, I'm kind of like I'm like obsessed with health and longevity and gut
Yeah,
health and all that stuff. Killian knows I send her books sometimes, like read
that's
them.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good
But
health.
so coffee is actually healthy for you. So there are
It
polyphenols in
is.
coffee. It's like, and this is a big reason why, like in the blue zones, they drink, you don't see them limiting their coffee. Like Sardinia, like you'll get the best cup of coffee there, and it's a total blue zone.
Mhm.
Um, but the thing is, so light roast and medium roast have higher polyphenols. Dark roast has you start to, it gets heated, it lowers the polyphenols a little bit. Best way to drink coffee is, believe it or not, through a paper filter, because
I love dark roast. I'm a dark roast girl.
me too, I do. But and it's still healthy. It just has a little less polyphenols. The
Yeah.
paper filters, there's a chemical in coffee that's not that great, and a paper filter will actually completely remove it. So like
Oh,
I do
okay.
all my K cups through like, paper filters. I grind my beans, because we're coffee junkies.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not bad for you, coffee, believe it or not, even though some people like to bemoan coffee. But when we start depending on it, as we get later in the day, because we have eyeball burnout. So we're not even physically tired, but our minds are interpreting the eyeball burnout as being tired. Now
Tired.
we're drinking coffee later and later. Now we're throwing off our whole circadian rhythm. We're like, we're going to start really screwing up our sleep because, we're drinking it, probably the last cup. You shouldn't really drink too much after like, pour your last cup after like noon, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah,
We're,
'cause
we're pushing it to maybe
it
one,
takes
what
like
I mean?
was it 5 hours or 6 hours? I think it's 5 hours that it takes your body to come down from that caffeine to be able to go to bed.
Yeah, and you're not even really tired. You have eyeball fatigue. Sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can be tired, but
Sometimes you
these are
are
the
tired,
cycles
but
we can get into as writers and authors.
right. Exactly. That's the cycle. That's right. That's right. So coffee, I try to limit mine to two a day.
Hmm.
The second cup I drink is around 2 p.m.
Okay. So
Today
I'm at,
it
I'm
was
at
more.
about 2 to 3 like you.
Yeah, today it was more. And that's because my husband came back and he brought me some coffee and I love him for it and I'm not gonna turn down coffee. But normally I have it in the morning when I get up and then 2 p.m. and then that's it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm proud of you. You gotta
Because
say the
if not,
coffee
then
that she drinks,
yeah,
what?
Cuban coffee is,
Yeah.
and
They
that's
got
not even Cuban
they,
coffee. That was
they
like
got
Dunkin'
nothing
Donuts
on the Cuban
coffee
coffee.
with like terrible syrup, but it's
Anybody out there drinking Turkish coffee?
woo! I love Turkish coffee. Oh my God.
I drank a cup of Turkish coffee one time.
So
And I
good.
can put down espresso, like I can drink coffee.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
put I put down a whole cup of
That's
Turkish
delicious.
coffee like it was a shot. I actually thought I was gonna have to. I thought
Just sip it.
I,
Just enjoy
I was.
it.
I don't even know. Like it
Oh
just,
God. No, you're supposed to
um,
enjoy it.
I
Sip
thought I
it.
was having a heart attack. I thought that was it. But it
Oh.
was. I thought that was it for me. So yeah. So kudos to anybody putting down the Turkish coffee, but just be aware because these are tips on how to sustainably be able to build a career as an author, or as a, this goes for any type of digital artist because we're authors
And
and
live
artists.
long term, and not be dealing with your career with suddenly now you have problems.
Anybody who's lost their health will tell you it's all fun and games, and you might think you have problems until
Mm,
you lose,
until.
you know. All right. So what else? What about our bodies? Like what about sitting in chairs? I know
So
that stand-up desk things, but I don't have one. I have this like writerly wooden desk because it inspires me. So
I googled or I looked up on Amazon, best writing chair, and this one came up. I
mhm.
can leave a link down below for it, and it is very comfortable. I can rest my hands here. It has good back support. You can lean a little bit if you want to, but a good chair is
Yeah.
is very important for your posture.
My chair, I will actually stand up so you can see it. I do too. I have an ergonomic chair. Let's see if I
Okay.
lift this bad boy. A nice ergonomic chair, and Grr. it
Yeah.
it's adjustable, so I can go higher, I can go lower. Learning about ergonomics at the desk is wise, and again, it's whatever works for your specific body. You know,
That's right.
I know for me, having my elbows higher than my computer or whatever I'm typing on will just result in my muscles all locking up. It's when I try to write on my dining room table, it's fine for the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then before I know it, I'm getting stiff. My muscles are locking up. Like, so if I am trying to sustainably write a book,
Right.
I don't have the correct writing setup and like my elbows are constantly like this, it has my muscles locked up here and I'm not even conscious of it, I'm not
Mm.
gonna be able to do it. Like and
Yeah, and
when
I
I'm
get
pulling
like
the
this like
muscle,
elbow cramp here that I kind of have to stretch out sometimes. It's
yeah,
probably from that, from like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
and things like carpal tunnels and that, like that's all real, and you don't want to get that. Like if you want to write
mhm,
long term, you don't want to have that. So
right.
do the homework on like having the right setup. Be like, okay, like, or just look it up. Ergonomics. Should my, where should my
I know someone who wears compression socks
Mhm.
while she writes, and that's
Right.
because, she's sitting. She's sitting
Now
all.
you know too, because I also
Yeah,
wear compression socks.
I bought them. She told me, she's like, you need to buy them, because like, I'm getting older and now I have plantar fasciitis and
Oh,
I have to deal with all of this crap. And the compression socks have been helping, so we can add that on there too.
and if you live in a hot climate like me and Killian, okay, because we're both in
Yeah.
Florida, it's like it gets hot. So when I go for my walks, it's blazing outside,
Mhm.
and that heat helps you to retain water. Now, then I come back here and I'm sitting at this desk, and if
Right.
I'm getting up and walking every half an hour, I'm gonna
Mhm.
get swollen ankle. Like I don't want swollen ankles. Your
Right.
ankles start swelling, you're gonna die. I try to prevent it all. So
Yeah.
I wear compression socks while I'm sitting because it just helps. I have a lot of old basketball injuries. I used to play a lot of sports and like my
I
ankles.
hear that, man. Army, archaeology.
Yeah,
I used to
right.
ride motocross when I was younger.
So if you have any
My
injuries
bones
in the
creak.
lower part of your body, you're gonna get inflammation there. And like
Mhm.
it's sitting long hours, it's a health hazard. And the last thing you want to do is have to like think about this while you're trying to write your book. So like, you
Very
know,
true.
compression socks. I know, like you're young, you're cool, you don't want to have to wear compression socks, but just, throw them on
Mm-hmm.
because you might thank yourself in the long run. Like, or,
Yeah.
eat a hot dog, go for a walk in the long climate and sit and write a book for 5 hours and then look at your ankles. You know what I mean? They
They'll
might,
be swollen. They'll be swollen. You might not notice too if you're just going from here to like take a shower later and then go to bed, but your body is doing things that you don't notice until it's too late just because you've been sitting on your ass all day working. So yeah, we'll link those down below.
yeah, we'll like break up the video. There's this girl that I follow on Instagram. She is hysterical. I think it's
Yeah.
written her books or something like that. But she does these whiteboard. I don't know if you ever watch her. She does these like whiteboard skits, and she's like people I won't take book recs from. And I could just see her being like people be sitting there with like swollen ankles. What do I want
Right?
book recs? I'm so with giant swollen. I don't want to read your book if you have giant swollen ankles. And not I'm talking to myself. Because
That's
if I
funny.
sit here for hours, I'm gonna have giant swollen ankles. But if you haven't checked out that girl, you'll pee your pants. She's so funny.
So I wanted to add in also drink water.
It's hot outside. Have you been drinking water?
Oh, yeah,
Stay
hydration.
hydrated.
That's a good way to also
There
help.
is water in this. I
Yeah.
promise. It's not rum. For those of you reading my series and thinking I am always a pirate, I am a pirate, but not when I'm writing. I'm drinking water. Um,
Hydration. And that helps from when you're also sitting for long times, having any
yeah.
inflammation or swelling that's gonna happen. Um,
I have a plant nanny app.
mhm.
And it reminds me to drink water. It gives me notifications, and whenever I drink water, I tap on the little flower to give it water, and it catalogs how much water you're drinking.
That's great.
And that's because I am a visual person and I need that extra little like plant
And
saying you
that
need to
harkens
drink
back
water.
to routine because this is so like you have a routine that works for you that reminds you to drink. So like
Mhm.
we should have that because how many times will writers, and I know definitely me, I will sit there, I'll forget to eat, I'll forget to drink everything but coffee,
Yeah,
and like and I can really get myself, after a week of being like that obsessive and
yeah,
because we can tilt the scale, some of us anyway can really tilt the scales psychologically to very
yeah.
unhealthy habits very, very fast. And then suddenly like I'm depressed and nothing, my life is going, I don't know what's wrong with me and why do I feel this way? And it's like, well, you haven't drank water in a week. You don't eat, and when you do eat, you're just, eating really bad stuff really late because you're obsessive, you're really out of balance, you
And
know?
you're falling into that. If this happens to me, if you're like me and you fall into that nighttime routine and
Uh-huh.
you're not you're not getting enough serotonin because you're not seeing the sunlight.
Yeah, that's another thing. We tend to be, a lot of us are night owls, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And like we have to there's no one rule for everyone. Everyone's got to find their own rhythm that works for them, but like just be aware that we creatives tend to, I don't know why for me, that's why I love you said the 5 a.m. club because it feels like nighttime because it
It
technically
feels like nighttime, so you and
is. So
fresh. Yeah, it's great.
but like that same vibe that's at when I'm writing at 2 in the morning, which you know, maybe when I was younger, I used to be able to stay up and like just like be creative all night long. I would be manic, you know what I mean? Like absolutely out of my mind. But now
Right.
I just at 2 a.m. my brain is like, nope. And I'm like, come on, brain. My brain's like, nope. You know, I
Right.
can't do that anymore. So
No, my eyes were too tired at that time because I've been getting up. And like when I didn't have Cairo, I could easily fall into that nighttime routine because there's nothing there forcing me into a routine. Because if I stay up at night, he's up.
yeah.
He is a pack animal. He will not go to sleep until I go to sleep.
Oh, is that why she waits for me to go into the bed every night? My little Rosie.
Probably.
I'm gonna show you Rosie right there. See? That's Rosie. Say hi, mommy's girl.
Probably. Um, especially him because he's part wolf. So it's like if I open my eyes, his eyes are open and he's staring at me. Unless he's super tired. Like if he's in deep sleep, then he's in deep sleep. But I can't be working at night.
Yeah.
He's giving my husband hell. He's howling. He's howling at the door, wondering where his mother is. It's a
Yeah, I'm
freaking mission. And if I wake up and I want to do 5 a.m. club again, especially I have an elliptical
yeah.
upstairs, but he'll hear me and then that's it.
And then
The
he's
game
out.
is
Yeah. And then I'm afraid with the
up.
elliptical too, because I used to have one and I'm afraid of the dog going under it while I'm like
Yeah, no, he wouldn't be able to be in the room, and then it's like murder.
outside. Yeah.
He's howling like
For
"Ah."
anyone who hasn't picked up on this yet, Killian has a puppy and her puppy is 10% wolf. And
Minimum. We don't know actually,
we've
and
got a
the
puppy
breeder
wolf.
said minimum 10%, but as he's getting
He's a
older,
cub. He's not even a puppy.
he's
He's
a
a cub.
cub, and his
Like a
face
little
is
cub.
very puppy-like. So what he's gonna grow into, we'll see in 3 years, because they take 3 years to fully grow,
Absolutely adorable.
which is scary,
He rocks.
considering that he has stretched and he is taller now than he was a month ago, and it's
Yeah.
like.
But you know what? Even though he's driving you crazy, long-term animals are actually really good for your mental health. And animals,
Yeah.
um, you know, I got my little doggies right there saying hi, Rosie Kara.
That's
All
pretty
right, so we talked about taking care of our eyes, our bodies, our health, our hydration,
Mhm.
remembering to eat, kind of developing making a conscious attempt to develop some type of routine that is
Yeah.
sustainable for your health and your
Hmm.
creative health, your physical health, your mental health, because they're all connected for sure. We talked about chair. Um, related to posture, you know what I mean? Like be aware, just be conscious. Like, you know, if you're
Be
like this all
aware.
day long, you might
Yeah.
not, you know, future you might not thank present you. And what if let's talk about the stereotype of writers who are just like, it's the artistic stereotype, but like the Ernest Hemingway. I know we touched on him for a second before I have to be, and this was something I fell into for many years. I was an artist, I was a creative, and I was a degenerate. Okay. Sober now for, over a decade. But let's talk about that for a second. You know, substance abuse and writing or creativity in general. What's your take on that? Do you think that it helps creativity or
I think that there's a lot of stereotype that is pushed in a positive light. Like you'll see movies and you'll see like artists smoking hashish or whatever, and they're like trying to get inspiration for their next masterpiece and
yeah,
stuff. And honestly, there are other ways that are healthier to tap into your psyche, to tap into that subconscious well of your knowledge, to reach whatever you're trying to reach the unknown, if you're, especially for people who like to write things that, you know I like, like the whimsical, dark
Hmm.
horror stuff. You don't see people doing that when they're trying to write a historical fiction.
Right.
You know, um, so I think it goes with the
It's
territory.
almost like the literary fiction, not the literary fiction crowd. Like think of like, like Ernest Hemingway is like, like
Yeah, and Ernest Hemingway really, I think that was really just him because what he wrote had nothing to do with that kind of psyche either.
yeah.
Not
I
knocking.
mean, I know
He's
where I guess it works for some people, you know what I mean? But like I just feel like I agree with you that it's glamorized
It's
in
glamorized
unrealistic
and it's
points that like all
unnecessary.
you're doing is developing an addiction,
An
bro.
addiction, and honestly,
That's
and losing life.
yeah, like we want to
Because
say like don't rely on AI to do your creative work. And it's
well,
like, okay, but
and
rely on a substance and that's any
you
better.
lose hours. You lose hours, and when you think that you have opened your brain up and you were most creative, 12 hours have passed by. You've actually ridden close to nothing because your eyes cannot focus, and then you sleep.
That's a good point about the eyes not being able to focus.
Hmm.
I remember when I was in the height of my drinking and I was out of control and at that time I was not writing books. I was more I had other creative endeavors like music
Yeah.
and painting and stuff, but I did
Hmm.
attempt to start a book.
Hmm.
And needless to say, that book never got completed
And
because
we are talking about writing.
right, that book was never completed because there's a big difference between what it takes to come to finish
Hmm.
a novel that is the best quality you are capable of at that stage in
Yeah,
your life versus like a performance of music or something like that where maybe
yeah.
there's a little bit more license to kind of like
And I want to also be clear that I am not talking about certain ritualistic substances that you may take once in the blue. And this is coming from an archaeologist, anthropologist. I've taken
yeah
hallucinogens and culture
yeah
that
yeah yeah
wonderful, things like that. And
your ayahuasca pilgrimage
or if you want to go to freaking Peru and
yeah
have an Ashaninka ayahuasca ceremony. I'm not saying, that that's bad or don't go and do that. If you're that type of person, you want to go explore, then you are actually going to tap into the depths of your subconscious and see things no one else has seen and really take an insight into yourself. You could also do hypnotherapy, and that does not require any substances. So for the person who is sober, the fact that some people say that you need to do that in order to tap into your creativity is false.
absolutely
It's
untrue
a stereotype and it is absolutely
yeah.
just
And be
untrue.
careful with the stereotype because
Yeah.
I know that we can develop, these things are addictive. There's a reason why, like a lot of our foods are addictive, you know what I mean? So like, these things are definitely addictive. So it's been kind of hammered into us culturally for so long that like, the artists are just these like suffering,
Yeah.
addicts and alcoholics. And we just got to be really careful with that because it's very easy to develop an addiction and sort of hide behind the mask of like, well, this is what we do. We're
Well,
creative.
I need it because
Yeah.
I am an artist. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you do
And I
not.
tell you, I never released a proper thing when I
We
was like
are
out of my mind.
creatives as human beings without any substance.
Say it
We
again louder for the people in the back. What are we?
We are creatives as human beings that do not require any substance.
That's right.
Substances are not in our tier of things we need in order to survive. And yet we dream.
See,
We
now
fall
that is
into right?
I love you.
We fall into an REM cycle, and we are connected to our subconscious mind, right? And our subconscious dictates a lot of what we do consciously, Carl Jung. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do not need to rely on substances in order to have that. We already do. So what we can
That's
do,
there's like, when we're being really like when we're sitting and we're focused on our writing or our project and like
yeah,
we're exploring, there's no better way to get a more realistic character than like putting yourself in that character's shoes, and you're
yeah.
exploring your shadow self. You're exploring yourself and like,
And there are things, now that you're saying shadow self,
yeah.
there are things that we can do if you want to explore it. It's hard. And
Yeah.
there might be beginner levels. A beginner level might be to write down your dreams when you wake up, right?
Right.
And you write down your dreams every day, all of the dreams that you had. And then after 3 dreams, you read them again and see if there are any subliminal connections. And this may give you
Yeah.
inspiration. I have
Yeah.
had so much inspiration from my own nightmares.
Yeah, you know what? You want a multi-dimensional characters? Get to
Mhm.
know the dimensions of yourself.
Of
What was
yourself.
that
Of
Shakespeare? What
yourself.
Shakespeare was play with that? Know thyself. You know what I mean? Like the better you understand your own nature, like the better you're gonna
Yeah.
understand human nature, the more that's gonna. But if I'm numbing, and I'd hate to say it, but like it is, even though, yes, and I'm not talking about the pilgrimage journey of like,
Oh,
like I'm talking about like I need to get totally baked, and I rely on that in order for me to be creative. And that is like,
right, exactly. Yeah, and I wanted to make that difference, because
yeah,
I am knocking culture here. If that's something that you want to do
yeah,
because of your culture, you want to experience another, and you want to go on this, ayahuasca or peyote journey. That is not something that is abused. That is not a substance
yeah.
abuse issue. That is a whole different
We're
thing.
talking
We're
about like
talking about
reliance
addiction. Yeah,
reliance on something else to be
reliance.
able to be creative. I personally am like, well, I don't want to become reliant on anything. That's why I don't use AI to come up
Except
with.
coffee.
Oh shit. And listen, I'm not a saint, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No. Nobody here is
I ain't a
perfect.
saint, but
We do
I might
know,
be take away my nicotine and my coffee, and I might be a little crunchy, but I'm still going to be able to get it done. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah. And then something more advanced would be to have a shadow journal
Mm,
and really get in there. Really
yeah.
get in there and
Journaling is great. Knowing it, knowing yourself, knowing your nature, your motives. That's like I do.
but
I keep,
in a shadow journal, you are purposefully writing about what you don't want to write about. Writing about the things that you avoid. And the more you do this daily and make it into a practice, you go deep and start talking about maybe bad habits that you have, nightmares that you have, and you start uncovering them and peeling them out like an onion
yeah.
and what caused them, and going really deep into those demons and giving them names, getting to know them and where they come from. And now it's a whole different level of journaling.
Now that's interesting because, I do, I'm in the recovery community, and
Mm,
I do something similar, it might have different labels, but like it's similar, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
to maintain recovery because, at one point I was dependent on substances, and it's an inside job. So I need to meet my demons, you know what I mean? I
Yes.
can't,
Have
if I pretend they ain't
coffee.
there, then they're going to kick my ass.
Have coffee with your demons, get to
Mhm.
know them and where they come from, and then let them go.
All right. I love it. I think this was a great conversation. And I think these are
Me
all
so
really good
too.
insights for people to like, us as critique partners. We want to stay alive a nice long time and be healthy so we can hang
Yeah.
out, create things. And everybody,
And
that's it.
enjoy the fruits of our labor. Nobody wants to be like freaking
Yeah. If you can learn from some of our mistakes, by all
you
means.
know,
Killian, do you
Van
have
Gogh. Nobody wants to be like Van Gogh, got famous after.
love Van Gogh? It's fading because this
Oh,
flow.
I love it. I love it.
But I also have his um Killian, do we have something for them in the comments? Not the comments, in the description.
Yeah, we got a whole load of things. Remember that we are linking things that we spoke about in this video. And we have
A thing. We have a thing.
we have a thing. We have a link to beta reader questionnaire If you are a starting writer or author and you are ready for beta readers, but you don't know what to ask them, there is a link down below and you can get those questions for free. There's also a video somewhere up here where we talk about betas. Make sure that you check that out if you haven't already. And remember to drink water.
Drink water. Like and subscribe. We'll check you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you want to check out some fantasy novels written by the Critique Partners, check out our author links below. If you're interested in developmental editing or other author services like book trailers, check out the Grimm House Pub link. And if you'd rather just hire a ghostwriter and outsource it all, then check out Legacy Publishing. Link in the description. See you next time.